Hey, what's up YouTube? Lightsaber Samurai here, back again with another video, and it's high time we take a look at some more hidden gems for the original Xbox. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Okay, so the first game on the list is by Midway. It came out in 2003, and this is a game by the name of Roadkill. This is a very interesting game because it blends open world elements with elements of car combat games like Twisted Metal. In this post-apocalyptic 1970s 80s era game, you play as a drifter who runs into this town, and he's taking all these odd jobs for various gangs. There was a pandemic that wiped out most of humanity and the survivors. You know, they're kind of in this Mad Max style post-apocalyptic world. This is an interesting game. Like I said, it's a car combat mission, but it's not so much where you're just in arena style battles. You have objectives and these open world areas that you have to take on, and in between time you'll have time just to roam around and screw around, do side jobs, find parts to fix your car. You can earn new cars and earn new weapons and things like that. This is a very interesting game with some pretty decent graphics. The soundtrack is awesome. It's a 70s 80s heavy metal soundtrack, which I can't play here for monetization reasons, but metalheads will definitely be right at home with a game like this. If you see it, it's super cheap. It's a $5 game that you can find almost anywhere. It's also available on the PlayStation 2 if you're interested. But that's the first game, Roadkill. Alright, second game on the list is one that we've talked about before. This is by Activision, and it's Ultimate Spider-Man on the original Xbox, and this is one of my favorite Spider-Man games in the franchise. It's got a really cool comic book aesthetic, and you play as Peter Parker. You know, this doesn't follow any of the movies or the cartoons or anything like that. It's lore taken straight out of the comic books, and as such you'll meet a lot of Marvel characters, and not just ones you find in Spider-Man, but you'll meet Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four, and there's side missions you can do with him. You'll run into Wolverine, and you'll even play against Wolverine fighting as Venom and things like that. This is an excellent game. I like it because it's one of the Spider-Man games that has the open world New York, so you can web sling from rooftop to ground, and you can take missions on the ground. He's a friendly neighborhood spider as well, so you can take on a lot of side jobs like standard Spider-Man stuff, stop bank robberies, take people to the hospital, things like that. The web sling in this game is also pretty good. It's not as good as 2018 Spider-Man that we saw on the PS4, and locomotion feels kind of slow in comparison, though that being said, you do get upgrades to your web slinging, and I'm still sort of in the first half of the game, so I haven't gotten everything yet. I have gotten a few speed ups, and so I think that'll get better as time goes on. But throughout the city you can do things like find pieces of the comic book similar to the PlayStation Spider-Man game that was out. You can also unlock different costumes and things like that. So it's overall a good time. It's a beautiful looking game. The cel shaded graphics hold up well over 10 years later, and this is a game that at the moment is still under $20. So if you see this one, definitely get it, as I think this will be one of the Spider-Man games that shoot up in price later on. Okay, next up we're talking first-person shooters, and this one was an exclusive to the Xbox. One of the few games done by Namco on the original Xbox, and one of the few games that they've done that wasn't a fighting game. This is Breakdown on the original Xbox, and this is a fantastic game. It's very immersive. Just in the experience of it. For instance, if you take out an enemy, or if you want to pick up a weapon or an item, for instance, you have to physically make your character look down and then hit the action button, and it's beautiful animations where you see them pick up the weapons and change clips and stuff like that. It's not automatic as you see in video games. LED light just went out, and that's one of the things I hate about LEDs, but we're gonna press on anyway. that's one of the issues I had, or that's one of the things I liked about the game. The graphics are nice and clean for the time. They still hold up well. It's broadcast in 480p, so they're gonna look good and still hold up on modern day televisions. The game is, it's fantastic. Like, in addition to the gunplay appears to take second place to the hand-to-hand combat, and you'll be able to do a variety of different combo moves throughout the game. Like, you'll do punch-kick combinations, you'll do backflips and somersaults and all kind of cool stuff that you can do. And he also unlocks more abilities as the game goes on. More of the supernatural side. So this game is excellent, and it's one that nobody talks about despite being one of the best of its kind on the system. So if you see it, absolutely pick it up. Okay, in this next game, we're getting serious now. Penultimate game of the episode today. This one is done by Sega and From Software, a fantastic developer. And this was a series, again, that is exclusive to the original Xbox, and a series that didn't really escape past the original Xbox despite it being so awesome. This is hack and slash action at its best. I'm talking about Otogi, Myth of Demons. This also got a sequel that we'll take a look at another time, but in this game you play as Raiko. You are this immortal swordsman who's been resurrected. Your goal is to purify the demons running rampant across Japan's countryside and restore the magic in the four essences to bring balance and peace back to the world. This is a fantastic game. I see elements of games like Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi on the PlayStation 2 wrapped up in here, but he's got a really floaty kind of airy style like to the way he moves, and locomotion in this game is fantastic. He's got a really cool double jump that allows him to fly through the air. You'll get other moves like attacks that'll let you stay in the air, and you combine that with his dash move that you can do on the ground or while you're airborne, and you can play entire missions without hitting the ground once. Like, it's fantastic, and you can chain attacks. They've got awesome combos that you can do, and he has a great selection of weaponry that he can use as well, on top of using a large variety of magic. The graphics in this game are beautiful. It kind of has that Japanese kind of like painting aesthetic to it, and the music is just as fantastic, using a lot of traditional Chinese instruments to score the soundtrack. This game is fantastic. Again, this is another one that no one talks about, and despite it being so awesome, I guess it just didn't sell well enough to get sequels beyond the original Xbox. But this is a fantastic game. You gotta get them both. I think from what I played, I still like the first one better, but the second one has got a bunch of new features, and we'll talk about that sometime in the future. But for now, just know this is a game that hovers around the $20 mark, and it's well worth the price. Okay, moving on, last game of the list. This is by Majesco, and my battery's dying, so we've got to get to it. Phantom Dust on the original Xbox. This is by Majesco, the same team that brought you games like Advent Rising, a fantastic game that got a sequel on, well, it got a remaster on the Xbox One digital only. This is the only way you can get it physical. The world is in ruins, and people are wandering around having lost their memories after whatever devastation took over the world. Certain humans were given special powers, and they are called espers, and you play as one of these espers who has lost their memory, and everybody's trying to get to this temple and recover their lost memories to find out what actually happened. But the combat in this game is fantastic. You're looking at it here. There's not much else to say. This is a rare game that's rising in price, so you need to get a hold of this game ASAP, either by buying the physical copy or, like I said, getting the fantastic remaster that was digital only on the Xbox One. Alright guys, I do believe that's all I got for you, but let's talk about it in the comments section below. Questions, comments, concerns, threats. What are some more hidden gems that you want to see on the Xbox OG? And if you like this content, please go ahead and give me a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. You'll be glad you did. I do believe that's all I got for you. Lightsaber Samurai out. Peace, and bam, I did it before my battery died. And now I should just talk and run my mouth until the battery dies. I don't know, should I? Maybe, maybe not. I'll talk more about Phantom Dust because you really need to get it. It's a boss game, and you will be happy that you got it. Alright, take care guys. Have a good one. See you next time.